Hello everybody, it's Chibi, and today I want to be doing an anime review on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders, episode 1 through 5. Okay, so I'm starting to watch this, and I just wanted to update my thoughts and get all this stuff out there before I continue on with my Bizarre Adventure. Oh my god, I'm loving JoJo's Stardust Crusaders. This is a really freaking good season. I'm liking Jotaro, he's a really good character, and I'm loving the re-ramped animation. It looks just so fucking badass. Okay, so, these 5 episodes. What have I learned in these 5 episodes? Dio is fucking back! Dio, man! Oh! Okay, so I made a fury in my big review over part 1 and part 2 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I said most likely Dio would come back. I guessed correctly, and Dio is alive, and he stole Jonathan's body! Oh my god, dude! He stole Jonathan's body, tore off his fucking head, and put his head on Jonathan's body. Oh, dude, that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. That's all I could say to that. That is really just dirty, man. That's just why? So, now we find out something very interesting in this new season. All Joestars have a star on the back of their neck, which is very unique, honestly. I like that little aspect, the way they introduced that, and at the same time, how all the Joestars are linked together to Jonathan's body, or Dio's body now. And it's unique. It's a really cool, different twist on the story, and I'm liking the way Stardust Crusaders is starting to develop into, because the first 2 parts of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was focused on the stone mask in absolute power. That's pretty much what it was. But with this, so far from what I can see, Dio's entire in-game goal was still out in the air right now. We don't technically know what he wants, but I'm just going to probably guess that most likely it's what he wanted in the first place, world domination. But at the moment, we really don't know exactly the thought process of Dio. All we know is he just wants to kill off all the Joestars. That's it. So we'll have to see exactly when they get closer and closer to Dio. Hopefully in these next couple episodes I'll get to see a confrontation of Dio and Jotaro, or Dio and Joseph. That would be so awesome. Speaking of Joseph, I am so fucking happy Joseph is one of the key characters in Stardust Crusaders. I love his character, I really do. His character seems a lot more toned down and wiser than he used to be. For instance, in this arc, I noticed that Joseph has taken a backseat back, even though he's not the main character now, since it is technically Jotaro's spotlight to shine now. Joseph still has some great moments, but he seems so much different from his original personality. For instance, in the part 2, Joseph would usually, talk over someone and think about what they were going to say next. We haven't really got to see that element so far on episode 5. I'm on episode 5 right now, and I haven't gotten to see that, which is kind of upsetting, but I'm not going to say he's completely changed yet, but I still love his character. I love his new character design, and he's still a fucking badass. And you know what I have to say, though? Right at the beginning, the first episode of Stardust Crusaders, I did not like Jotaro. You want to know why? What he did to Joseph pissed me off. It really did. You probably know what I'm talking about. When he ripped off Joseph's freaking finger, his robotic finger, I got pissed off. I'm like, this dude saved everybody in the fucking world. He is your grandfather, and you're gonna rip off his fucking finger and treat him with disrespect. I was just so mad, because you gotta remember, I watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I pretty much marathoned it, so seeing this awesome character, Joseph, get mistreated like that, I'm like, what the fuck? It just, I didn't have a good first impressions of Jotaro, I want to be honest. But around episode 2 and 3, I really started to warm up to his character, and I'm starting to like to him. It was the same way I felt with Joseph's character, honestly. Joseph's character, I really didn't like at first in part 2, but now I feel the same way towards Jotaro. I like him so far. Now, we really haven't seen Jotaro fight to the fullest yet. We don't know exactly how far his power really goes. We just know he has this new stand called Star Platinum. That is a really cool and unique name and a unique ability. And that is the main concept I could see so far in Stardust Crusaders. Now, here's the main thing, okay, that's really unique about this part 3. They're not really using Haman energy like we saw from the first 2 parts. We're seeing more on Haman energy being used as stands. And I heard from a couple of comments below my last review that the stands will not be really explained until part 4. Which, that's kind of upsetting, but at the same time, I guess it leaves more mystery behind the stands. And I'm curious exactly why all these stands activated at this one specific moment. And there's also a couple questions I have about Dio. Okay, so Dio, one thing I want to ask right now. As we all know, Dio is affected by hormone energy as we saw in the first part of JoJo, and all the other vampire people that use the stone mask can be affected by it. But as we can clearly see, we have Dio being able to use hormone energy and able to use a stand. We see a slight stand like thorns coming out of his hand. So I'm going to take a quick guess and say most likely Dio has all the abilities the other Joestars have, and he could also use Hamon energy, which would make him kind of like an omnipotent god like we saw Cars was in the end of part 2. So that leaves a big question. How in the hell are they going to kill Dio? I mean, if he's immune to Hamon energy, and at the same time, he has the Joestar's body, he can use all their stands, I mean, how powerful is Dio, and will he be a good character in the future? Well, I don't know. I still have my hopes that Dio might turn a new leash and he might actually become a good character again, because I like Dio's character so much. I really do. Even though he's a villain, even though he's a prick and he's killed a lot of people, and I feel it's disgusting that he stole Jonathan's body, I still appreciate his character. The writing behind his character is pretty freaking unique, and I love it. And so, I'm just curious the way this entire series will go forward from this point onward. The big thing, though, I want to bring up, okay, that I've talked about in my big review of the Part 1 and Part 2, is that a lot of characters die in this series. So, I'm kind of expecting a major death very soon. I really am. And I'm expecting a death on Joseph. As much as I don't want to see that, as much as I do not want to see such a beloved character of mine die, I know for a fact he will eventually succumb to death. I mean, it may not be because of Dio's hands or another stand's user's hands. Most likely it's because of old age he will eventually die, which I can sense happening at the end of Part 3. And so, it's going to be sad seeing his character disappear, because I have really cherished his character. But if Joseph's going to go down, hopefully he manages to accomplish his goals, he gets to save Holly, and at the same time, if Dio really is evil in the very end, hopefully he gets the prize of taking down Dio, since, you know, he probably should have the most beef with Dio. I mean, you gotta think about it. His grandpa, Jonathan, died to his hands, pretty much, stole his body. At the same time, you have Dio messing with his daughter, Holly. So all the people right now that deserve the most revenge would be Joseph, I think, at the most, because, I mean, yes, Jotaro deserves it too, but, I mean, it seems like there's more beef along the lines with Joseph. He seems like he should have more rage than any other character. Now, let's get on the lines of this, okay? I love the poses of the series. The poses of Stardust Crusaders are once again back in full. I love it so fucking much. And I love all these new characters introduced, like Muhammad and Jean Pierre. Those are really cool characters, and I like their stands. And that's something I noticed that this series is going to be incorporating quite a bit, most likely, for the rest of the series. Each different person is going to have their own unique ability, kind of like Devil Fruit, if you think about it. I mean, if you look at One Piece, that has different abilities like Devil Fruit, most likely each individual Hamon user now is going to have a different stand and different power correlated with it. And I like that a lot, and it'll definitely mix up the different fighting styles, instead of just using Hamon energy to take down the other people that can't see daylight, for instance, like Dio. Now, one thing though, I'm going to say I recommend this series if you've yet to start JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm talking about Part 1 or Part 2. Go give it a watch, because it is an epic series I would recommend to all. This is definitely going to be probably in my top 10 once I catch up, because I'm really enjoying this series a lot. It really is. I cannot believe I haven't started this series sooner. It's that enjoyable. I am having a lot of fun watching this series. So anyways, everybody, this is going to conclude my, review of episodes 1 through 5 of Stardust Crusaders. Now, a couple of people told me to do a live reaction to some of the episodes, but I don't know exactly which episodes I should live reaction on. So if anyone knows, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to do a live reaction to those if I can. So everybody, I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.